It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Again, let's repeat that. It is fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. All right, as usual, we're going to talk about why I love this quote. If you look at the quote, there are actually two parts to it. I love that Bill Gates starts the quote off with, "It's fine to celebrate success." Now, some reading this may look right over this part, but I think it's actually really important. While it's not the main point he's trying to get across, it is also an important point. When we have a success or we have accomplished a goal that we've been working towards, it's okay and it is actually beneficial to be yourself, to take a minute, give yourself a high five, and appreciate what you accomplished there. This helps you see how you've grown and accomplished something that just not long ago was a goal or idea that maybe you didn't even think you could accomplish. And the second part of this quote is probably the most powerful. It is more important to heed the lessons of failure. What Bill Gates is saying here is something that most people don't ever seem to see or understand. People tend to be afraid of failure and in turn tend to not even try to attempt because they are afraid of that failure. Instead of being afraid of failure, know what failure is and know that failure is a part of learning. It's a part of becoming the success that you want. The best way to go about things is when you have an idea to do your research and then go after it. Go after what you want. Try your best. Find some mentors, research online, look at people who've already done what you've done. And as you go along pursuing your goals, you will make mistakes and you will fail in ways that maybe you don't know along the way. But you need to learn and to grow and continue going down the path that you choose. Quite simply, in each failure that we have, there is a lesson for us to learn, and it's a good thing. Failure may be painful in the moment, but it's just another part of life, and we need to keep going and pursue our goals. So that is why I love this quote. There's two parts to it. Both mean a lot. So now I want you to go ahead and think about that. Maybe see how you could apply it to life. Maybe there's failures or something that you've tried to do and you failed basically, and you second guess what you were doing. And maybe there was a goal or something you accomplished and you just looked right past it. You didn't think anything of it. Instead of maybe going out and just celebrating. Just take a minute to celebrate. Take a night to celebrate when you have nothing else to do to celebrate that goal. But don't think that's all you have to do. You got to keep going with all your other goals. So that is our quote for the week. Moving on, I got a top 5 list. This one's a good one. All right. So, top 5 easiest countries to start a business in. Now, the great thing about podcasting and my website is you can be viewed all around the world. While I am based here in Southern California in the U.S., there may be listeners that live in other countries, and if that is, please talk to me. That would be awesome to meet a bunch of you people, but you guys, and understand and learn, and you gals too. So we're going to learn about the top 5 easiest countries to start a business in. Now, this report was actually done by the World Bank International Finance Corporation. All right, so we're going to start at number 5. Number 5 is Korea. Now, the good thing about starting a business in Korea is it's actually the number 1 country to get electricity to your business. Now, what the World Bank says is that there's actually only two steps to starting this business, and that it takes about roughly 4 days, and the startup costs are roughly $45 plus taxes. Now, that is actually pretty good when you look at starting a business in the US, where it can cost roughly about $750. So starting a business there seems to be pretty cheap for any of you people who live in Korea. Number 4 is Hong Kong. Now, this study points out that the country is actively making regulation forms in the areas of cost and minimum capital that can help foster startups. Now, it's only 2 steps, takes only about a day and a half, and costs roughly $260. Again, a still pretty good price considering of all the other places in the world that cost more. All right, number 3 on the list, we got Denmark. Now, Denmark is number 1 in trading across borders. It takes about 4 steps, roughly 2 days time, and costs costs around $100 US dollars. Again, those costs are really good. Those are really low because starting a business here in the US can be quite costly and a lot of hoops to go through, a lot of different things. All right, number 2, we're moving on. Singapore is number 2. Now, Singapore boasts relatively quick process for getting construction permits and registering properties, and also has easy access to credit. Now, it's a 3-step process, takes roughly 2.5 days, and costs about $270 US dollars, so still pretty good. All right, and now we're gonna go move on to the number one place in the world to start a business, New Zealand. According to the study, the one-stop shop approach, where most of the government agencies that a startup needs to be linked online, keeps the country on top. Only one step and less than a full day of work. And it's an online procedure that you have to do. And the cost about $150 US dollars to start. And it's also number 1 in ease of doing business, starting the business, dealing with construction, registering property, getting credit, and protecting minority investors. So, New Zealand is the number 1 country to start a business in, which sounds pretty good to me. Let's see here. Okay, a few honorable mentions. We have the UK. I have some friends in UK. Number 7. And here in the US is number 8. Like I said, it costs about on average $750 to start that business here. And it has 6 different steps, which is a lot more steps than all the other countries that we already listed off in the top 5, and takes roughly about 5 days. The US also ranks number 2 in getting credit to start that business, while the UK only takes 4 steps and roughly 5 days. It costs about $20 US dollars, it says. So there you go. If you want to go ahead and check out all the rankings, all the countries, you can go to doingbusiness.org/rankings. You can check that out for yourself, see if your country's on there, because I know we have listeners all over the world. Now we're going to move into I want to try and keep this podcast current. I want to try and do things, current events. I'm working on different segments, different formatting, different ideas and topics I could talk about to keep this podcast fresh and to keep it growing. And honestly, this is my second podcast. I just started uploading on my blog, on my website, happymindhappygrind.com. So everything's growing. So today I wanted to go ahead and honor John Wooden. College basketball starting. My family and I are big UCLA fans. We're excited for the season. So John Wooden is highly regarded with just his principles and his quotes and just success in general. So we're going to go ahead and talk about a few of my favorite John Wooden quotes. This is actually a quote article up on my blog, my website. You can check it out, happymindhappygrind.com. You can read more. I got about 21 amazing John Wooden quotes for you here. I'm only going to highlight maybe about 5 or 6 of them. We'll talk about those in the podcast, and then we'll move on to the next part of it, okay? So for those that don't know, John Wooden is one of the top coaches of all time in NCAA history. He's won 12 national basketball championships between 1962 and 1975, including an incredible run of about 9 straight championships. He coached many great players, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which for me, as a Laker fan, is huge. He's also coached Bill Walton, which is actually, Bill Walton is the father of Luke Walton, who is now the current Lakers head coach. So obviously that ties to my big Laker roots as me being a big Laker fan. He believed in the fundamentals of basketball, and many believe that helped with his success. He is known for his inspirational messages, his basketball success, and what he called his pyramid of success, which he believed was the path to success, not just for basketball, but also for life. The pyramid for success, to me, I've looked at it, I've learned it, I studied it. It's something just amazing, and it's actually something that I've I've learned over the years. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of my favorite John Wooden quotes. Now, the first one I think is really powerful. I'm sure you've probably seen this one before. It's one of the most popular ones, and it is, and I quote, "Failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be." Now, I love this because this almost goes back to the Bill Gates quote that we were talking about earlier. When you fail, it's not the end of the world. Life's not over. But if you continue to do things that cause you to fail, obviously you're not going to grow. And if you're not growing, you're dying, as I like to say. So, failure is not fatal. Failure will not kill you. But failure to change might be. If you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to adapt, if you're not willing to grow, then obviously you're going to die. Second favorite quote. I would spend almost as much time planning a practice as conducting it. Everything is planned out each day. I like this because what this says is you have to have a plan before you do something. You want to think about when you launched your business or when people launch their businesses, what do? They come up with a business plan. You have to have a plan of what you're going to do. You want to have your sales goals. You want to have your marketing ideas. You want to have everything laid out, who's in charge, what your mission statement is, what you actually plan to do, what you plan to sell, everything. You want to have it all planned out. So that's why it's important to plan. Like these podcasts, I don't just come up here and wing it. I don't come up here and say anything. I have everything planned out, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say. With when I write my blog posts, I don't just write something and all of a sudden poof, it's there. No, I plan out, I outline, I get ideas, I write something, and then I just start writing, and then I go ahead and I edit that up and I see what I want to do. So planning is very important, and you have to spend as much time planning as you do on the actual activity. Sometimes maybe even more time planning than you actually do on the actual activity, because when you plan, that's what sets you up for success. You don't see people just go in and do something and all of a sudden they're good. No, behind the scenes, those people are planning, those people are deciding what they need to do. So you need to know if there's something you want to do, you want to go ahead and you want to take the time to plan it out. And you gotta set up how you're going to be successful, and you got to practice it as well. And then when you get there and it's your time to shine, you'll know what you need to do. You know what you need to say, and that's what will help you get to the success. And that's what's going to impress people, and that's what's going to make you go as far as you can go. All right, number 3, never make excuses. Your friends don't need them, and your foes won't believe them. So this is important because you don't want to make excuses for yourself. Honestly, if you're making excuses, you know it's an excuse. You know it's a lie. You know it's not real. And your friends, your family, they don't want to hear that. They want to see you be successful. They want to see you grow. They want to help you. And your foes, your enemies, they just don't care. Those people don't even listen to you anyway. So there's no point making excuses. The only person that hurts in the end of the day is yourself. All right, number 4, just try to be the best you can be. Never cease trying to be the best you can be. That's in your power. This one is pretty powerful. You always want to be you first off. And you always want to be the best you. You always want to keep continuing to grow. You want to keep learning. You want to keep improving. You want to try and be a better person every day. Don't ever stop being the best that you can be, and don't ever stop being the best person you can be. We spend so much time looking at celebrities and people who are famous and trying to copy them and looking at what they do and what they wear and how they act instead of being ourselves. We know them better than we know ourselves, right? And also, we want to continue to be the best we can be. One day, you may be happy with how you handled a situation. Well, don't stop there. Go the next day and handle another situation even better. Always be improving, always be learning, always be growing. It's very important. If you're not making any mistakes, then you're not doing anything. I'm positive that a doer makes mistakes. Again, this goes back to our Bill Gates quote and the fact that John Wooden here, he's saying, I'm positive that a doer makes mistakes. Mistakes can be failure. So as you're going along, you're gonna have failure. Don't be afraid of that failure. You don't be afraid of that mistake. That's what doers do. And I've learned this. I've wanted to start a podcast for who knows how many years. I wanted to start a success blog for who knows how many years. And I always let it hold me back. And eventually one day I woke up and I said, no, I'm going to do it. And I started doing it piece by piece. This has taken me months. This has taken me months to get to this point. And who knows, I'm still years away from where I want to be, but I'm doing it, right? I'm doing it. And I know I'm going to have setbacks. I know I might hit a failure here or there. I know I might hit a mistake here or there. I mean, I know these podcasts aren't the greatest thing in the world, but I will improve as I keep going along. But I am a doer and I am growing, and you too can be a doer and you too can keep growing if you just go. If you're not doing anything, of course you're not going to make a mistake. And a lot of us don't want to make mistakes, so we don't do anything. That's what also leads to people being afraid of failure. We're afraid of that failure, so we just don't do it, because if we don't do it, then we can't have that failure. But if you want to do something, just do it. That you will make mistakes and you will have your failures, but you will learn and you will keep going and you will grow from it and you will become a better you every day, and it will be the best thing and you will feel better about yourself. So that quote is something very powerful and I love it. All right, let's go to the next one. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation's merely what others think you are. this one is pretty powerful. When you think about a reputation is what people think you are, as he says. Anybody can put on a fake facade, put on a mask, put on a show, make people think whatever they want to think. They can do, it happens to people all the time. People put on this thing like they're so successful. You can put on a suit and tie and have a fresh haircut, a fresh shave, whatever it is, and you can look like a successful person, but you can have negative $5 in your bank account. But people will think, oh, dang, he's good. He has a reputation for looking good. He has a reputation for doing this or that. But the character inside, how you treat people, what your values are, what you think of yourself, that's what's truly important. And only you know that. But that's what matters most, is what you know about yourself and how you can be your best and to keep growing. All right, so those are my favorite John Wooden quotes there. I got we only went through 5, 6 maybe. I wasn't really counting, but I got 15 more up here on my website. So make sure to check those out. We'll go ahead and move on to the next segment here. Next segment is the question of the week. Now, if you have a question of the week, feel free to go ahead. You can comment on my website. You can get a hold of me on Facebook, Twitter, my contact page on my website, comment on my website, any way you want. Ask the question, and the best one I like, I'll go ahead and pick it out, and we will talk about it. If I get a couple good ones, I'll go ahead and talk about those in the next podcast next week. So this week is, what's your advice on moving forward after a failure? Okay, that's a good question. Now look, as I explained in the reason that I love the Bill Gates quote, we all experience failure, right? Everybody does. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, and instead of giving up, he started Pixar and then came back to Apple to take it to one of the biggest companies in the world with the iPhone, the MacBook, the iPad, the iWatch, whatever else is huge, Just know this, if you fail, that does not equal failure. Learn from your failure, learn from your mistakes. This is what life is all about, right? In school, you are punished if you fail, but life, that's how we learn. In life, we fail and we learn. You have to be willing to die for what you want, for what you believe in, if you want to be successful. Don't question your belief. And if you do, maybe it's not the thing you truly want. But just keep going. Don't let fear kill you. Don't let failure hold you back. Take what you learned from your failure and apply it and come back stronger. Your once failure can now become your strength. It's okay to be fearful. We all have fear in something, but we can't let that fear control us. We can't let that fear hold us back. Success is standing up to the fear and knowing nothing can stop you but you. You are the only one standing in your way. So look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, look at yourself, are you standing in your way? And if you are, make a promise to yourself that you will stop, that you will do anything to achieve what it is that you want. If you want that success bad enough, you will get it. Now, it won't be easy. It'll take hard work and it'll take some luck. It'll take meeting maybe the certain person. It depends on what your goal is. But if you want it and you go after it, it is more likely to happen than if you just sit at home watching your favorite show on YouTube or whatever it is. You can decide if you let that fear or that failure hold you back. No benefit comes from holding yourself back. You need to learn, you need to grow, and you need to keep going after what you want. Failure happens and will happen again, but keep going. So, if you had a failure, move forward. Learn from that failure. Don't sit in the corner. Don't cry, poor me. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to know that you failed. It's okay to say that you failed. It's okay. But it's not okay to sit there and just give up or say you can never do anything because you failed, because that's not true. You need to keep going. So hopefully that helps answer the question of the day on how to move forward after a failure. So there we go. So with all this inspirational talk, we've gone through the John Wooden quotes in honor of college basketball starting. We've gone through the top 5 list, countries to start a business in. Let's go ahead and let's make a goal. Let's do some homework this week. I want you to make a goal. You know, it could be anything. It could be a big goal. Could be a small goal, something that you can accomplish in the next week, so I can follow up with you. We can go ahead and make sure you got it, and we can talk about it. If you want to tweet me, if you want to talk to me about it, go ahead. So let's make this goal. My goal for this week is the next week I want to get 2 YouTube videos up. That's gonna be my goal. I'm gonna film, edit, and get 2 YouTube videos up within the next week. So hopefully, definitely next week I'll be going ahead and talking about those YouTube videos. I want to make some videos for a couple articles that I have on my website and get those onto YouTube. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's my goal. Go ahead, take some time, get your goal down. All right. So hopefully you have your goal now.